Welcome back to Dubbzi Bricks for another episode of Building Gotham City in Lego, and what a sorry state the city's in at the moment. It is a complete mess and it is about to get a good tidy up, and I can't wait to get into it, get it tidied. We have the top of the Wayne Tower that's been removed and I've stolen some bricks off it. They need to be replaced. There's containers of bricks all the way along the front that need putting away. We've got the black pearl that shouldn't be there. We've got the onyx cinder that shouldn't be there. Arkham Island I've been working on over here. I need to get that back over to the table. And one of the problems I have is that the Tantive Fort is taking up so much space that I'm really struggling in the Lego room. And I will be doing a Lego room tour very shortly. So you'll see the extent of the problems we have here. But what I want to do in this update, as I said, is have a good tidy up. But I also want to make some amendments to the city, which are going to be huge. And they're not as bad as the last time where everything was destroyed. So don't worry, it's not going to be that bad, but it is still going to be quite significant. And it all hinges around this area just here. Now, one thing I want to do, like pretty much straight away, is Arkham Island is going to go here. And I need a road that comes from the raised platform area to the island itself. Now, at the moment, we have this area down the bottom here, which was this whole area here. We're going to have Ace Chemicals and the Joker's Funhouse. I was going to need to build this section up, and originally I was only going to do it by about 6 bricks. However, you then had the problem of the road coming down would be too steep, and I just can't visualize it, see how it's going to work well. I was then thinking about extending the raised platform area all the way across there, but then there'd be nothing underneath it. And I thought, what a waste of space that is, and bricks. So I then thought, why don't I just slide the entire raised platform area all the way along? And I think that's the way forward. Now, the train line does stick out a little bit here. I've disconnected the track at the moment, so I do need to put a 16 wide base plate all the way along there. However, it does mean that I'm going to be gaining in the region of 70 or 80 studs worth of real estate if I do slide all of this along. So the plan is just put the base plates down there, finish the wall off, build it all along, then I can put my structures on top of that. If we then come down this way, there's nothing that's going to be disrupted along here. This is the first structure that will be affected, which is the bridge. The top of the bridge, that comes off easily. I would just need to move the structure at the bottom there, which again, it's quite a simple structure. I should be able to peel it off in sections, and then we would move it over to the next raised platform. So all of this would be going down. So the bridge would probably be on this section of the raised platform area. Not 100% sure what I'm going to do with this section here just yet. Possibly just leave it as it is. But down this end here, this is where the major changes would be. At the moment, we have a Batcave around the back there, and we have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle lair just there. And if I can, I want to try and find a new home for the turtle lair. I'm not worried about the Batcave as such. It's struggling size-wise, so I may scrap that and just have the Old Wayne Terminus as the only Batcave, with the exception of the satellite one in below Arkham Asylum. But then this entire area here will also be free, and we're talking about another 60-odd studs here. So we all of a sudden we've got probably from about here to here is all going to be free in that corner, and that'd be perfect for putting things like the cathedral. We could have a park there, a load of other tall buildings and stuff that's at the moment I'm struggling to find a home for. I just feel like it's going to be a much better use than what I've got at the moment. This area here, all we've got is a hole for a garage for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle van, which I just put there just purely to use the space up, because we had a ramp coming out from Wayne Terminus up here, because that's how Batman would have got out of the terminus. However, he gets out down that end now, so we don't really need that as it is at the moment. So whether or not I move all of this down as it is at the moment, or whether or not I amend this area here and connect the Wayne Terminus up to that structure, I'm not sure. It's just something I'm having to think about at the moment. I could do it so I connect those two together, and then the bridge there would be connected to this side over here. However, the problem I've got then is the road is going to have to go up higher, because I've got this part of the structure in the way. So yeah, there's plenty of things I just need to have a good think about. But the one thing I think I'm definitely going to do is move from sort of like this area here. That is all going to go down that way by the 70 odd studs. I think it is a good way of utilising the space. It's going to use less bricks, which is better, and make things a lot easier for me. So what I'm going to do first of all, I'm going to have a good tidy up within the Lego room here, and then we can start sliding those sections down one by one, and hopefully these changes are going to be a lot smoother than the last lot. And there we have the island back in its rightful place, and we've had a good tidy up now. So we've cleared all of the loose bricks down along the edge here as well. Had a really good tidy through here. The old Wayne Tower now has the top section back on there, although it does need some repair work. But yeah, a lot happy to have it just like this. It's amazing how much better it feels just having a tidy Lego city. We will endeavour to keep it tidier going forward. But now we've got all of the loose bricks out of the way, let's start moving the raised platform down to the end. And that's the first section of the raised platform all moved along, and all you need to do is just remove a couple of bricks on the top, take the mills plate off, and it slides along. So there are a couple of extra bricks connecting these two sections together, but it's not going to be too much of an issue because I've got to remove this bridge part here as well anyway, so we'll do that all at the same time. But fingers crossed this is all going to go smoothly as it has so far. One thing is, this is a little bit of a domino effect, or has a little bit of a domino effect, should I say, with the layout of the city. And I'm not liking how close this wall here is to the island. I think once I've got a structure on top of that part, it is going to feel a little bit claustrophobic, a little bit too close. So what I'm considering doing at the moment is rotating the island around. That will give an extra 48 studs of gap between the two structures. And I do think that that will look a lot better. Now, the lighthouse has to stay there. I want to keep the cave just here. So what I would do, obviously these are two separate modules. I'll just move those apart and adjust or modify this section here and stick that in. The maximum security, which is along there, will go around the back there. So it is going to mean a little bit of a work on the rock work, but it's not massive, and there are ways I can do it in a very quick and easy way without losing the look of it. What I will probably do is just rotate it around a little bit, or part of it around, and just see how much difference it makes to the look between the two sections. But I do think that that is possibly going to be the best way forward with Arkham Island. What it will mean is the docks need to move. They're going to need to go down by 48 studs. The bridge will also need to go down by 48 studs. I don't want to eat into the city area down the end here. So what I'm thinking about doing is this grey base plate here, which was going to be for the submarine pen with the iceberg lounge above, that will no longer be. So that base plate will be lost to the Arkham Island. So the bridge will now be coming to here and be going over this road and railway track, which I think could look really cool. Now, there may be a little bit of a problem with the pillars and this part here, so I might have to bring the track round a little bit earlier, but again, it's something that's going to be quite easy to rectify. Now, with the iceberg lounge, it doesn't have to be above the submarine pen, and it's a shame to lose submarine pen, but I think it is potentially going to be for the better with Gotham City. But it's not a decision I need to make straight away. I'm going to carry on moving the raised platform at the back there. As I said, I'll just rotate that around for the time being, just to see if it does look good, or look better, should I say, and then I can make a decision from that. And that's the raised platform area all moved down now. And this, from this point just here to the end there, was all one section. So that was quite straightforward. The bridge was actually on two separate mills plates that were resting on the top there. So I did have to dismantle that a fair bit. However, it has come off in chunks. So I'm hoping that it is going to be quite simple to put that back together. And it should be going on this area just here. So fingers crossed that will all work out well. Now, I'm not sure yet 100% what to do regarding the Old Wayne Terminus, whether to bring that up to the raised platform or keep it so we have the road in here and then the ramp just to the side of it. I do quite like that idea. However, if I can work out a way of having it all one together, it is going to give me a little bit more space. So yeah, we will have a little bit of a think about that. Now, in regards to the island, I have rotated it and it's not making as much difference as I was hoping. This base plate here, this grey base plate, which was behind it here, that had the water on, so we're only actually gaining that much extra water on there, which again, I suppose it does make a bit of a difference, but I think the main difference I'm going to need to make is to that structure there. So I do just need to decide on whether or not to increase that there. One thing I may very well do is still move this down, and even if I don't rotate the island round, we'll have a bigger pool of water here, which again might just make the island feel a little bit better, a little bit further away from the mainland. And that's the dock slid down by 48 studs, and we've just rested the bridge supports on the end here, so I will need to amend the road section just the other side there to accommodate that, but I do think that this is working very well. It's separating the two halves of the city nicely, and I think you're going to see two totally different parts of the city when you walk either side of the bridge. Now, I have rotated the island round. There is a fair bit of rock work I need to amend because you can see all the multicoloured brick there. This is the complete wrong shape. But again, this is something that I can quite easily fix, and it won't take me long at all to do so. But I am much happier with the gap behind there. I think it's going to look a lot better having that like it is. And also I think the bridge that's going to go across to Arkham as well will look a lot more impressive as well. So this is what I am going to go with. I am going to leave it like that and make the necessary amendments to that. Now what we've got to do is work out what we're going to do with the Old Wayne Terminus. And the domino effect is in full force here, and I was just about to move the Old Wayne Terminus down and realised the train track there will then be hitting the Wayne Terminus. It's not too much of a problem. We just extend the straight section there before we have it curving round to get onto the raised platform. The problem I'm going to have is the bridge needs to come over, and it's going to start sloping down here, and I'm not sure whether I can get two trains underneath the track at its current height, and I don't want to raise the bridge. So that is one potential problem. We may have to lose that second line out of there. Originally, I was going to be having the train station on this part of the raised platform. However, now the bridge is going to be smack bang in the middle of it. And there's not really enough room that side for the train station itself. So just need to work out how I'm going to go about doing so. Also, I need to make sure that there's enough room for a road from the raised platform to go past the Wayne Terminus. So at the moment, because of the height of this, the road would have to go on that ledge just there. So there's plenty of things I just need to work out, whether or not this is going to work. Do I need to keep the ramp just between the Old Wayne Terminus and this section here? I'm not sure. If there's a possibility I might have to do so. But yeah, plenty to think about before we make any rash decisions with moving, destroying bits, and yeah, making the same mistake we made before. It might pay me to start building the bridge support up here, just even if it's just propping the bridge up, just to give me a good idea of how much clearance I've got here for the trains to go underneath it. So yes, let's start working out what to do, and I'll check back in once we've decided. And here we have the bridge in its new home, and there's a lot of work that needs to go on down the far end there. And the problem I've got is these are Mills plates that just lift off of some tiles, so if there's any problem with the train line below it, I can easily get access to it. The problem I've got though is I have to keep dismantling this end of the bridge in order to get below it. So what I'm thinking about doing now is just actually making a structure on the Mills plate, and the bridge will just rest on top of it. That way, if I do need to do any work to the bridge or need to get below it, I can just lift it off, do what I need to do, and then place it back on, and I haven't got to rebuild it like I'm going to be doing right now. But it's going to be a much better way of working going forward. So let's go back round to that side of the table and start making the new bridge support for that end. And here we have the modified bridge, the first two sections of it, and that will just slide up together. And how I'm going to keep it all in place is by putting some tiles over the top to help squeeze it. So that's just going to give it a little bit extra strength along there. There shouldn't be any problems anyway, but it's nice to have it in this particular style. Now what I'm going to do is just rest the bridge on top there. I've got a feeling I might need to amend the length of it now, but we'll just find out. But yeah, happy with how this is going along so far. And as you can see, the bridge is now too long, where the raised platform's that much longer at the front here. So I just need to shrink the bridge so it just comes to above the archway just there. So let's take the bridge off, make those amendments, then we can put it back on there, and then hopefully that'll be that part all done. And that's the bridge all reconstructed. We've gone for a slightly different style on the top here, And I'm probably going to put another statue on each of the additional pillars that we've now got there. So this is where the train, or one of the trains, will come through. And obviously we've got the pedestrian one there. Still a lot of details I need to add on there with the form of tiles and ingots and other bits and bobs, but we'll worry about that later. But what I'm currently wondering about is whether to have one train come through the tunnel here and then another one the other side of the bridge, and then they'll both join up here and have the train station around about this part just here. So that's just something I'm considering at the moment. If I do that, then I will obviously extend this track down, as I mentioned before. Now, one other thing I was wondering about was with the additional train line that we're going to have here, the one that disappears off the end of the table there, I'm just wondering whether or not to have it disappear off the table that end as well. It's just something I'm thinking about. Obviously, the last thing I want to do is be wasting a lot of space with a train track, but I would put a crossing down that end as well. So yeah, just something I'm thinking about at the moment. Anyway, let's turn our attention back to the island and get that rock work all sorted. And here's the first part that we just need to amend. What I think I'll do is just bring this section out by another 3 or 4 bricks. Be quite easy. All I need to do is peel off those last 2 rows and then stagger them out a little bit more, and that's job done. And then also bring the rock work up so it's the same height as this part just here. So let's do that section first of all, and then we can work on the other side. And that's that section all completed, and only took about 10 minutes, which was good. So we're now going to turn our attention over to this side, which is where we have the cave and the steps coming up. And one thing I'm considering doing is actually having this part here as a removable panel. So I need to move the tree over to around about here. If I do that as a removable panel, I could then possibly move Strange's room over, the steps over, and then add an extra security cell. So just something I'm thinking about at the moment, but we're just going to have a look and see how much work will be involved to do that. And that's 2 of the 4 base plates that needed amended, all sorted now. And I'm so much happier with this island now. It feels massive compared with how it was previously. And to think that all I've lost is the submarine pen that was down there. So really glad that I've made the decision to rotate this round. We've also managed to get an extra high security cell in there. And this is a new removable panel here. So you can actually see into Strange's experimentation room a lot better now. So that one comes off like so, and then these 2 are the same as before. So you've got a larger floor space on that one. Now that we've finished that base plate, I'm just going to take this one over here. Now this one's going to be a little bit more awkward, as this one's got the Batcave in there, and that one there I think is pretty much a complete rebuild, which to be fair is probably going to be a lot quicker to do. But yeah, let's take one over to the table and let's get going. And the shape of the rock work was completely different, so we have had to start again. Luckily, the actual Batcave itself and this corner section came off really easily, so I can now just build the rock work around it. So it shouldn't take too long to do. I did need to redo the lights in here anyway, so it's given me an opportunity to get it all done at the same time. And that's that section all complete, and a lot happier with this version than the previous one. Now, the pipe is exactly the same, and the layout in here is exactly the same as well. Now, what I'm going to be doing different here, I'm going to still have the removable rock panel down at the bottom just here. But what I'm also going to do is have a removable ceiling to the bat room. That way, if I need to adjust the lights in here at all, I can easily do so. If I need to change any bulbs over in the future, again, I've got access to do it. Over here, we've got a hole so I can feed a light down into there. So if there is an inmate escaping, they've got a torch of some description, I can actually have the light in there. Then on the removable ceiling section that's going to here, I'm going to have the rest of the rock work attached to it. And then on the very top here is going to be another removable panel, just in case I just need to get to the cables down the bottom there. So I guess I didn't really need this as a removable panel, but any extra access I can get for getting my hands in here is obviously very helpful. Anyway, let's take this section over to the table and then we can work on that final corner. And that's the final corner of rock work all sorted. Just need to do the very top edge along there, give it the finishing touch that we want to have. But I know I've mentioned before, but this feels so much bigger than it did before. And I think the reason being is previously we had the lighthouse here and then 2 base plates worth of rock work there. And the last one was very small anyway. And then we had the cave section just here and then the other 2 there, which again wasn't as big. Now we've got those larger corners on there, so we've got this whole section here to put a building, and we've got this back part here as well. So it's given me a lot more opportunities to do a much more impressive Arkham Asylum. So I'm really pleased that I made the decision to make the changes. Also, having the extra cell in the maximum security is amazing as well. I was never happy having just 3 cells in there, but 3 was all I could fit in. So it's nice that this change is in effect giving me that extra cell. So yeah, glad I made the decision to make the changes. Now, in the comments last week, there were some amazing suggestions, things like different colours to put on the ground around the island, different style for this leading up to the lighthouse with the flooring on there, put a power generator where the electrics are. All these ideas were fantastic. It really has given me some great visions for things I want to do to Arkham Island, and I want to make this best mock I possibly can. This is one that I want to take to Brickcon in Dublin next year. Went this year with the Wayne Tower and it was such an amazing experience. I've got to go back next year, and this is what I'm planning on taking with me. Now, there is a Brickcon in Cork on the 28th and 29th of March at the Marina Market in Cork, and I'd highly recommend going along to that if you can. If you have never exhibited before and you fancy it, go to one of the Brickcons, because the guys there that arrange it, they do such an amazing job and make you feel so welcome. And it's really nice meeting the other mock builders as well. And when I went, I learned so much there. I saw some fantastic techniques, which I'm really looking forward to implementing into the city. So yeah, I'll leave a link in the description for where you can get your tickets. Yeah, go along if you can, you won't regret it. Now, other changes to the city here, making the amendments to that bridge there, that was also a fantastic idea, because now I can easily get to the train below when I need to. I haven't run the train in the city yet, so if it derailed, I was in deep trouble. So at least now I know I can move that all. Now, down this end of the city, we haven't done any more work, and we're not going to be doing so just yet. I don't want to make the city too much of a mess too quickly. And the problem I've got is the far bridge supports, they are on the base plates, which are the Wayne Terminus is on. So when I move that, I'm going to need to temporarily support the raised train line. That way, I won't have to destroy it, because that took so long to build. And yeah, we don't want to be doing that. Now, the reason I've moved the raised platform along at this stage is I need to get the road or the bridge coming across to Arkham Island. Once the bridge is across to Arkham Island, then I know exactly where my footprint of the building is going to be going. So yeah, that was the reason we turned our attention over to that initially, and then obviously it had the domino effect of having to rearrange the actual island itself. So what we'll be probably concentrating on next is that section over there, get the far side of that all sorted out, and possibly change the look of that bit there. Again, it's nothing drastic, it's just something that I think will potentially look better. And one other idea that I did have, again, this is from the domino effect, is it would be quite nice to have a ferry coming in here, but I don't think it's realistically going to be enough room. The amount of people that commented about having the 2 ferries seen in the city, and this is the largest pool of water that I've ever had on here, but obviously with a bridge coming across, they would have to be pretty low boats, so I don't know whether it's possible. And also, if I did do that, I would then need a ferry terminal, and as I said, it's that domino effect of everything coming on. But we'll keep everything in mind. We're always open to these sort of ideas. We will just take it one step at a time. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the update. If you have, please remember to give us a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content on the channel. And if you know anybody else you think would be interested in building Gotham City in Lego, if you could share the channel with them, it'd be much appreciated. Anyway, thanks for popping on by, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.